Stop working in 10 years. The real plan for early retirement. Picture two neighbors, both 55 years old, both earning the same salary at similar jobs. One just handed in his resignation letter. He's retiring this year and spending the next decade traveling, spending time with grandkids, finally living. The other, he just calculated he'll be working until 75, maybe longer. What's the difference? One discovered what ancient Babylonian merchants knew 4,000 years ago. The other is trapped in the biggest lie modern finance has ever sold. Here's what nobody tells you. That 40-year retirement plan you've been following, it was designed to keep you dependent, not free. The 10-year path has always existed. The wealthy have been using it for centuries, but financial advisors won't teach it because they lose money when you retire early. By the end of this video, you'll understand why everything you've been told about retirement timelines is backwards. And here's the part that might shock you. If you're 45 or older with even $300,000 saved, you might already be closer to freedom than you realize. Number 1, the Babylon acceleration principle. Most people think compound interest is this slow grinding force that takes 30 or 40 years to work. Financial advisors show you charts with smooth upward lines that don't really take off until you're 60-something. And here's the uncomfortable truth. They're showing you the slow path on purpose, because the longer you work, the longer they collect fees. But that's just the obvious part. There's a story from ancient Babylon about a young apprentice of Akkad, the city's wealthiest merchant. This apprentice saved his gold diligently for 5 years. Every month he put away a portion, and every month he felt like nothing was happening. The pile grew, sure, but painfully slowly. He watched friends spend their gold on fine robes and entertainment, and he started to wonder if he was wasting his youth. Then something shifted in year 6. His gold started earning gold faster than he could save it himself. By year 8, the gold he'd saved in the early years was multiplying so fast it scared him. He realized he'd crossed what the ancient merchants called the tipping point, the moment when your money works harder than you do. The Babylonians understood that compound growth has 3 distinct phases, not one smooth line. Phase 1, years 1 through 3, is the crawl. It feels impossible. You're building mass, pushing that boulder uphill, and progress looks pathetic. Phase 2, years 4 through 7, is the walk. You start seeing real momentum. Your account balance makes noticeable jumps. Phase 3, years 8 through 15, is the run. This is where your money makes more money each year than you earn at your job. Stop thinking you need 30 years of grinding. Start thinking you need to survive the first 5 years. Then let acceleration do the heavy lifting. Here's what changed everything for a man named Thomas. He saved $2,000 every month for 6 years and built up $180,000. Then in year 7, his portfolio gained $25,000 while he only contributed $24,000. The crossover month, when his investments earned more than his contributions. He realized his money was working harder than he was. By year 12, he hit financial independence. Early retirement isn't about saving for 30 years. It's about surviving the first 5 years, reaching the tipping point, then letting acceleration carry you to freedom in 10 to 15 years total. Number 2, the Jewish double income wisdom. Most Americans think one paycheck from one job is just how life works. You clock in 40 hours, get paid once every 2 weeks, and repeat that pattern for 40 years. But ancient Jewish communities understood something that modern workers have completely forgotten. This single income model is a form of financial slavery. The Talmud teaches a principle that changed how wealthy families thought about money. A wise man has his money work a second shift. Jewish merchants would work during the day earning active income. That was their first paycheck. But their gold and silver worked at night in lending ventures and merchant partnerships. That was their second paycheck. There's even an old proverb that says, "While you sleep, your silver should be waking up." Here's the revelation that separates people who retire in 10 years from people who work for 40. Every dollar you earn at your job works one shift, the 40 hours you're actually working. But invested dollars. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They never take vacations. They never call in sick. They just keep multiplying. Your job is your first paycheck. Your investments become your second paycheck. The goal isn't to save forever. It's to build that second income stream until it matches and then exceeds the first one. Track what I call your second paycheck. The monthly returns your investments generate. When that second paycheck equals 50% of your job income, you're halfway free. When it equals 100% of your living expenses, you're completely free. That's the finish line. Let me tell you about Maria. She was a teacher earning $4,500 a month. Over 8 years, she built a portfolio that generated $1,500 in monthly passive income. She realized she was 33% free, meaning she could work 3 days a week instead of 5 and maintain her lifestyle. 2 years later, her second paycheck covered everything. She retired at 52. Freedom isn't about having $1 million in the bank. It's about the day your second paycheck covers your life while you sleep. Number 3, the Roman Stoic enough principle. People chase more forever without ever defining what enough actually means. The retirement target keeps moving. First, it's $500,000. Then it's $1 million. Then suddenly financial magazines are telling you that you need $2 or $3 million. And here's the trap. You can die still working because you never drew the finish line. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. He had infinite wealth, unlimited power, and access to anything money could buy. But in his private journals, he wrote something that still haunts people today. Very little is needed to make a happy life. He discovered what the ancient Stoics called the freedom formula. Enough equals what sustains your preferred life, nothing more. The wealthy Stoics retired early not because they accumulated the most money, but because they knew their number and had the discipline to stop chasing once they hit it. Here's the ancient calculation that modern finance deliberately complicates. Take your monthly living expenses and multiply by 300. That's your freedom number. Why 300? Because investments returning roughly 4% annually mean every $300 generates $1 per month forever. Need $4,000 monthly to live comfortably? Your freedom number is 1.2 million, not 3 million, not 5 million, 1.2. But the financial industry tells you that you need 3 to 5 million to retire comfortably. Why would they inflate that number? Because they earn management fees on your portfolio. The longer you work, the longer they collect. It's not a conspiracy, it's just misaligned incentives. Define your enough based on your actual life, not what retirement magazines say you should want. Calculate your monthly expenses honestly. Multiply by 300. Circle that number and make it your only target. Every dollar you chase beyond that is ego, not freedom. A couple I know thought they needed $3 million to retire. Then they sat down and calculated their actual monthly spending, $5,000. Their real target was $1.5 million. They stopped grinding at $1.6 million and retired at 53 instead of waiting until 65. 12 extra years of freedom because they defined enough. The wealthy retire early, not because they have the most money. They retire because they know when to stop chasing. Number 4, the Benjamin Franklin time compression secret. People accept 40 years of work as inevitable. They hear save for retirement and automatically assume it means grinding until 65. Nobody questions whether there's a faster path. And that acceptance, that passive belief that decades of work are required, wastes more years of freedom than any other financial mistake. Benjamin Franklin retired at 42 years old, not 65. 42. How did he do it? He understood something most people never learn. Exponential income growth beats linear savings every single time. Franklin had a principle he never wrote down publicly, but lived by privately. Every year, you don't increase your earning power, you add 3 years to your retirement timeline. Think about what that means. If you coast at the same salary for 5 years, you just added 15 years to how long you'll work. That's the hidden tax of staying comfortable. Here's the time compression formula. The linear path looks like this. Save $1,000 a month for 30 years, retire at 65. The exponential path looks like this. Save $1,000 a month, but increase your income by 10% every year. Same discipline, same person, but you retire at 52 instead. 13 years faster. Why does this work? Because in year 1, you save $12,000. By year 5, you're saving $19,000. By year 10, you're saving $31,000 annually. Your contributions compound at the same time your investments compound. It's compound interest on steroids. Stop thinking I'll save harder. Start thinking I'll earn more while keeping my lifestyle the same. Set an annual income growth target. Minimum 5%, ideal is 10. How? New skills, professional certifications, strategic job changes, side income streams. Every 10% raise you, negotiate cuts 2 to 3 years off your retirement timeline. Jennifer was a nurse earning $65,000 and saving $1,000 monthly. She got a specialized certification and jumped to $85,000. Kept the same lifestyle, now saving $1,800 a month. Her original 25-year timeline collapsed to 14 years. She retired at 54 instead of 65. Time is the only asset you can't buy back. Compress your timeline by growing income, not just cutting expenses. Number 5, the hidden enemy financial advisors won't mention. Financial advisors show you retirement plans that end at 65. They run Monte Carlo simulations with 95% success rates. They talk about safe withdrawal rates and adequate cushions, but they never ask the obvious question, why not 50? Why not 55? There's a reason for that silence, and it has nothing to do with your best interest. Warren Buffett says something most people miss. Wall Street makes money on activity, not on your success. The longer you work, the more years they collect management fees. If you retire at 65, The average advisor earns over $100,000 in fees from your account. If you retire at 50, they only collect about $40,000. You leaving the workforce early is their revenue loss. Here's the conflict of interest nobody talks about. Financial advisors get paid to manage your money. They don't get paid when you achieve freedom and stop needing them. Conservative projections keep you working and paying fees for extra years. Aggressive early retirement strategies mean you graduate from needing their services. They'll tell you that you need 95% certainty before retiring. But the truth, you need 80% certainty plus flexibility. That extra 15% safety buffer they insist on costs you 5 to 10 additional working years. Those aren't safety years. They're revenue years for the financial industry. Ask your advisor this exact question. What's the earliest I could retire with an 80% success rate? If they dodge the question or push back hard, understand what's happening. They're protecting their income stream, not optimizing your freedom timeline. Let me tell you about Robert. His advisor told him he needed $2.5 million and couldn't retire until 67. Robert got a second opinion from a flat fee planner. The answer, $1.4 million, retire at 56. Robert did the math. His first advisor would have earned an extra $180,000 in management fees over those 11 unnecessary working years. The advice wasn't financial, it was self-serving. Question everyone who profits from you working longer, especially the people managing your money. Their incentives and your freedom are not aligned. Number 6, the biblical Joseph's famine preparation. People plan for perfect scenarios. They assume steady income, no emergencies, smooth sailing for 30 years. Then one crisis, job loss, medical emergency, market crash destroys years of progress in months. Early retirement dreams collapse because nobody prepared for the inevitable storms. There's a story in Genesis about Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream. 7 years of incredible abundance followed by 7 years of devastating famine. During the abundant years, Joseph stored 20% of everything Egypt produced. When famine struck and surrounding nations starved, Egypt had a surplus. The key wasn't predicting the famine. It was preparing during the good times for the bad times everyone knew would eventually come. Building wealth works exactly the same way. Your career has income seasons, good years with raises and bonuses, and lean years with stagnation or setbacks. Most people spend windfalls the moment they arrive. Tax refund, vacation, bonus check, new furniture, raise, upgrade the car. The wealthy do the opposite. They accelerate savings during boom years. Here's the Joseph rule. During normal years, save your target percentage, 15 to 20% of income. But during bonus years or windfall moments, save 50 to 80% of that extra money. This creates a buffer that carries you through inevitable down years without derailing your entire plan. Look at the real math, regular path, save $1,500 monthly for 15 years. You hit about $450,000. Joseph's path, save that same $1,500 monthly, but bank every bonus, every tax refund, every raise. You hit $680,000 in the same time frame. That extra $230,000 buys you 3 to 4 years of freedom. Create what I call an acceleration fund, separate from your regular savings. Every unexpected income, work bonus, tax return, side gig payment, gift money goes 100% into this fund. This fund alone can cut 3 to 5 years off your retirement timeline. Michael was an engineer who saved consistently, but also banked every annual bonus without touching it. Over 12 years, those bonuses accumulated to an extra $140,000. That alone bought him 2 additional years of retirement freedom. He left corporate life at 53 instead of 55. The race to early retirement isn't won in average years. It's won in the good years when you have surplus and choose to store it instead of spending it. Number 7, the wealthy's freedom ladder secret. People think retirement is binary. You're either working full-time or you're fully retired. This all or nothing thinking traps people for decades because the gap feels impossibly wide. They look at the distance between their current situation and complete freedom and give up before starting. But ancient wealthy people understood something modern workers have forgotten. Retirement isn't a cliff you jump off. It's a ladder you climb one rung at a time. The Greek philosopher Plato didn't retire at 65. He gradually reduced his teaching obligations while increasing his passive income. At 50, he worked 4 days a week. At 55, just 2 days. By 60, he only taught when he felt inspired to. He climbed the freedom ladder instead of waiting for permission to leap. Here's the framework that changes everything. Rung 1 is Coast FI. Your savings will grow to full retirement without new contributions. Rung 2 is Barista FI. Part-time work covers expenses while investments grow untouched. Rung 3 is semi-retirement. Work becomes optional. You choose only projects you love. Rung 4 is full freedom. Passive income covers everything permanently. You don't need $1.5 million to start climbing. Rung 1 requires roughly 300,000 by age 45. Rung 2 needs about 600,000 by age 48. Rung 3 takes around 900,000 by 52. Rung 4 is 1.2 million by 55. Most people already qualify for rung 1 or 2, but don't realize it because they're only looking at rung 4. Here's what nobody tells you. Most 45-year-olds with 400,000 saved are already post-FI. Their money will grow to full retirement on its own. They could quit their high-stress corporate job today, take a lower-paying job they actually enjoy, and still retire wealthy at 55. Catherine discovered this at 47. She had 450,000 saved, and her financial advisor kept saying, work until 65. Then she found a post-FI calculator online. She was already there. She quit her miserable consulting job, took a part-time position she loved at half the salary, and let her investments grow untouched. She fully retired at 56, not 65. Bought back 9 years of her life. Freedom isn't a finish line 20 years away. It's a ladder you're already climbing. You just don't see the rungs because nobody showed you where to look. So here's the truth. 10-year retirement isn't theory. It's ancient wisdom that modern finance deliberately hides. The Babylonians knew about acceleration points. The Jews understood double income. The Stoics mastered enough. Franklin proved time compression works. They all retired early while others worked until death. This week, calculate your freedom number, monthly expenses times 300. Then check which ladder rung you're on. If you're 45 with 300,000 saved, you might already be post-FI and don't even know it. Remember the old proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. You don't need 40 years, you need clarity and 10 years of consistency. Start climbing the ladder. You're closer than you think.